Hey, what's up, world, man? It's Modern Day Caveman again, man, and got another good video for you. This one is a trip right here, man. So today I decided to go to Walmart with my dad, man, and he's a character, man. I'm gonna interview him so y'all can see who he is, man. My dad's a character, so I go to Walmart, man, and we get in there, and the first thing that happens is he's like, "Hey, man, go down there and get me that cart that I can ride on." He said, "Go down there. All you got to do is pull the plug and push the button." So I amble on down there, and when I get there, I see the cart. I pull the plug out, and I'm like, I don't see no button. I see the on-off switch, but I don't see no button. So I'm looking at it, looking everywhere for it, and I don't know how to do it. So like this dude saw me looking at it, man, and he comes over and he's like, "What's going on?" And I was like, "Hey, man," I said, I don't know how to start this thing, man." So he's like, "Oh, you got to sit down on it and push this button and pull this lever." And I'm like, "What?" He didn't tell me none of that stuff. So I'm like, "All right." So I get on it now because my intentions was just to turn it on and just walk beside it. And I took it up there to him. But you got to sit in the chair. I was like, "Oh my God!" So now I'm driving across Walmart. Everybody just saw me walk all the way down here and get it. Now I'm riding in this thing back, and I'm looking stupid as heck, man. I'm like, dude. I'm like, and it moves super slow. I'm like, oh my God. So I'm driving around. I'm embarrassed because I'm riding this little thing, but this is my dad, man. So I'm doing it for him, right? And so I get to my dad, and we got to go to. When I get there, he's trying to introduce me to this guy that I don't know, and I'm like, I don't know this guy. He was like, "Oh yeah, you remember him? You remember him?" I was like, "Dude, I don't know him. Like, I don't. I was like, "Dude, okay." So, man, my mind, I was trying to get to this Western Union because my dude Rico Suave, man, he Western Union me $50. And I was like, my dude, I could use this because y'all know I still owe this $378 for this car, man. And I'm trying to pass that off. I'm trying to get that. I got to get that bill down, man. I don't like owing people. So I'm like, all right, check this out, man. I'll just go to Walmart. So we go down to Walmart, and I go there. I get my little phone thing. I get the little code number, and I'm like, yeah, I got to money pick up. I get there, and she was like, you got the code? I'm like, yep, blah, blah, blah. She said, you got some ID? I said, yeah, I got some ID. And so I show her this state ID that I got, right? This is the release ID that they gave me when I got out of prison. You see this? This is the release ID that they gave me when I got out of prison, and it says Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections, but it says for Ohio BMV use only, offender release card, right? And it tells me that I got my social security, my birth date on there. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, shoot, this will work, right? So when I give it to her, she said, "Oh, I don't. This is not acceptable." And I'm like, "But it's got all my ID on it. How am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to get the money?" And she's like, "Well, we can't do it. Western Union and us just started, and I can't use that ID. That's not a valid ID." So it's not dawn. It's kind of weird that this is the ID that the state gave me, right, to use as identification. So this is a situation where I'm like, okay, this don't make any sense. But what has ever made sense to the Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections? It's not bad. It's not a bad system. It's just behind in the times, man. It's just behind in the times, and it needs some upgrades. So that's why I'm documenting these things. So when we come across these situations, we can come up with a remedy. You know what I'm saying? So anyways, so after they tell me I can't get the money, I'm walking away, and we're trying to figure. I call him Rico back, asking him how to get the money. Like what do we got to do? So we're trying to work this out. So my dad's running around again. We're walking away, and he's like, "Oh, there goes so and so, and there, oh yeah," and he knows everybody here in town, everybody. So I'm like, oh my God. And it's just, after a while, walking around in the stores, a lot of people walking past me and, brushing past me and, and like, just like I was trying to watch everything going on behind me. I got all this time in prison, and I don't know why, but I just started getting overwhelmed, man. And I felt like I was having a panic attack or something, or an anxiety attack. And I just was right at the height of where I thought I was finna flip out. I get this text from a guy that says, "Hey Ramon, I run a catering company, man. I'd like to bless you and your family with some ribs and some sides, man. What's up?" was like, what? So I'm like, what? So this is how I know, you know what I'm saying, that God is with me, man. God has got me, because right when I was at the point of, like, I don't know what was going to happen, but I was at that height, and I don't think anything, I don't know. I just was right at where I was like, whoa, this is too much, where I thought I was just going to just, like, have a serious attack, you know, a panic attack or an anxiety attack, man. I get this message, and this guy's trying to give me some food, and I was like, what? So I call him, man, and his name's Ed Kennedy, man, and I'm talking to him. I'm telling him what's going on. Like, dude, I'm stressing, man. Like, I'm freaking out. You know what I'm saying? And he was like, yo, you know, he's like, yeah, man. You know, I was in a prison ministry, man, and guys are saying that they don't prepare you for what you're going through right now, man. And he was like, it's okay. And he gave me some words of encouragement, man. And I was like, look at God. Look at God, man. God was right there, man. So my dad comes, and we leave in the store. We got to go to another store. I tell him I ain't going in, man. I'm sitting in the car. So I'm like, I'm still trying to calm down, right? I'm trying to relax, right? So as I'm sitting in the car, my friend Jenny calls me, and she was like, hey, can you talk? And I'm like, girl, you just called at the right time. I needed this, man. I needed this. So she talks to me, man, and I tell her what's going on, and she was like, I was worried about this. You got to slow down. You've been running full speed ahead, and I was like, yeah, I said, this was a wake up call, man. I learned something there, because I was really panicked, and so I hang up with her, and as we're driving off, like, my dad comes back, we're driving off, I get a text from a pastor friend of mine that used to be in the prison ministry, and came inside the prison, and he literally just, like, was like, hey, man, I miss you, man, like, how you doing? And I was like, look at God, man. Like, 3 times, man. 3 times. They say confirmation comes in threes. So Ed Kennedy, Jenny, and Pastor Dave, man, they came, like, right immediately when I needed them, man. And it's very, very important to have a support system. Guys, have a support system, man, because it can be overwhelming at times, and I'm a living proof that it is overwhelming at times, man. But if you believe in God, man, and I tell you guys, man, God is real, man, and He loves us, man, and He loves us, and He takes care of His children. And he's right there, man. All you got to do is just believe, man, and just trust and keep walking that path, and nothing, I'm telling you, nothing will stop you, man. We are more than conquerors in Christ, man, and I'm living proof, man. I promise you that. So I just want to encourage you guys, man, that even though it gets rough sometimes, we can still do what we do, man. I love you guys. Peace out, man. One love.